saying sorry as if there's anyone here. Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vandal, and in today's video I will show you how to make the perfect cat hat every single time. As you can see, I have become a cat hat professional athlete, and I will show you all my little tips and tricks so that your cat hats can look as cute as the Pinterest pictures. Because let me tell you something, I used to go on Pinterest every single day and I would look at them and I would try to make them look as crisp and cute as the pictures, and I never could do it. They never looked good and it would piss me off. So that's why I'm making this video, so that you don't have to experience this ever again. You're welcome. Cat hats make really good gifts for the holidays or for birthdays, and they're a super quick make. I can make a cat hat in under 2.5 hours. They're also very mindless, so you can just watch a movie when you're making it. They also do really well in markets. For me, my cat hats tend to be my best seller, and I have to remake a bunch of them every single time because they keep selling out. So there's literally no reason not to make them. The only prior knowledge you will need is how to do chains, double crochets, and slip stitches, and everything else is explained in the video, so it's very beginner friendly. And all these little techniques I've gleaned over the years, and I feel like they make my crochet look really good. So after this video, I'm sure you'll leave with a bunch of knowledge that you didn't have before watching it. So that's pretty cool. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here are the materials you will need for this tutorial. First, you'll need a crochet hook. Here I'm using a 5mm, but you can use any hook size that is recommended on your yarn label. Then you will need your yarn. I am using 2 different colors of size 4 medium yarn from Bernat. You can use any color and any size really, as long as it fits with your crochet hook. Lastly, you will need scissors and a tapestry needle. This project is worked in 4 different steps. Here I brought a hat that I made a couple weeks ago just to give you a visual. So we will start with a double crochet foundation chain, and then we will do a brim that's about 5 to 8 rows long depending on your yarn size and your hat size. Next, we will do the rest of the body, and we will finish with a mattress stitch. I will also show you how to do color changes without having to cut your yarn. This is why it's important to follow my instructions for the brim part, because we will have some of the color changes on the outside and the rest of them will go on the inside. That way, when you fold your brim, they become completely invisible. Alright, so let's get started with step 1. First, I will show you how to do a double crochet foundation chain. This type of foundation is done a little bit differently in comparison to the regular chain foundation, but it's honestly super easy to do. Essentially, we will do the first chain, and then we will do the double crochet that goes on top of it, then the next chain, the next double crochet, and so on and so forth. I much prefer double crochet foundation chains because A, they look much cleaner than normal chain foundations, and B, it's much easier to work on the bottom of it too. It just looks great all around, and I think you will like it too. First, make a slip knot and insert your hook in the loop. Pull it tight and make sure you're holding the working yarn. To create the first double crochet foundation chain stitch, we will chain 3. The chain 3 counts as your first double crochet foundation chain, so technically the first chain here counts as the first bottom chain, and the chain 2 on top of it counts as the first double crochet. This will make more sense in about 2 minutes, so don't worry too much about it. Yarn over, and we will insert our hook in the first chain. Like so. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Next, we will yarn over and pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Now we will create the bottom chain right here. So we will yarn over and pull through just the first loop. As you can see here, there is a chain. This will be the bottom chain, and now we will do the double crochet that goes on top of it. Next, you will yarn over again and pull through the first 2 loops, like so, and you will yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops, like so. The chain 3 counts as the first double crochet foundation chain, and this is the second double crochet foundation chain that we just made. Just to make it clear for the next step, I will mark the bottom chain with a yellow stitch marker and the top of your double crochet with a green stitch marker. Alright, so now both are marked. Let's do another double crochet foundation chain. Yarn over, and now you will insert your hook where the yellow stitch marker is, so it's in the bottom chain right here. Alright, so yarn over, and then you will insert your hook through the bottom 2 chains, as you can see, like this. And now yarn over and pull through the bottom chain, like so. Yarn over, pull through 1 to create the bottom chain, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Let's make our 4th stitch. Yarn over and insert your hook in the bottom 2 loops. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through the first loop, like this. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. This is what your project should start to look like. Keep making double crochet foundation chains until your chain is long enough to go around your head. You might want to add an extra few stitches because usually I end up making my hats a little bit too small and it's a bit annoying. Just make sure that when you count your stitches at the end of this row, you have an even number of stitches. And also keep in mind that your chain 3 will count as your first stitch, so make sure you count it. My double crochet foundation chain is now long enough to go around my head. It is 76 stitches long. I will say my head is pretty small, so you're probably gonna end up with more stitches than me, but that's fine. It's just for reference. As you can see, the double crochet foundation chain creates this really nice and neat chain foundation on the bottom. And when you flip it over, you can see like the V's are very neat and they're super easy to work into. So this is why I love the double crochet foundation so much. Now we need to connect the 2 ends together. So make sure that your double crochet foundation chain lays completely flat, and you will grab the beginning of your row and you will insert your hook in the top of the chain 3 that you did to begin. Right here I have a stitch marker, but this only marks the top of the first double crochet, so we don't want to go in here. We're just going to go in the top of that chain right here, like that, and you will slip stitch. You will probably notice that there is a gap on the bottom, so I like to sew it shut right after I've slip stitched, just because I find it just kind of annoying. So I will drop my project and grab my tapestry needle. Alright, so I grabbed my tapestry needle and I removed the stitch markers because they were kind of getting in the way. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna thread the tail into your needle, like so. And essentially you're just going to sew the 2 bottom chains together. So I like to insert my hook in the bottom chain, like the both loops, like so. And then I pull it like that, so you can see that the tail is like going through. And then I go into the first chain that we made. And then as you can see, it closes the gap, like so. So now I'm just going to insert my hook just kind of anywhere. I like to do it just like this. Again, and I'm going to create a loop, like so, and I will put the needle through that loop to create a knot. There you go, and we will sew this back into the project later on. So now, there's no gap anymore, and it looks all nice and neat. At this point, you will have a nice tube. So if you only want to use one color of yarn, you're just gonna keep going and making just normal rows. But now I'm going to show you how to start doing your color changes without cutting your yarn. So first, insert your hook back into your loop, and you can kind of pull tight, and you're going to grab your second yarn. Now that you have your second yarn, you're gonna do another slip knot. And you're going to put the loop on your hook like you did earlier. You're gonna pull it tight, but not too tight. You're gonna wanna leave a little bit of space. Grab your working yarn and you're going to pull through the loop, like so. Ideally, you want to keep the knot before the loop, like you don't want to put the knot through the loop because it becomes kind of obvious. And then you're going to grab your first yarn and you're going to pull it tight. Now that you've pulled your first yarn tight, you will notice that your loop is pretty secure on your project. Usually, when you want to start a new row of double crochets, you're gonna want to do a chain 2, but I don't like chain 2s either. What we are going to do instead of a chain 2 is we are going to do a stacked single crochet. Stacked single crochets are exactly what they sound. They are 2 single crochets stacked on top of each other. I prefer stacked single crochets instead of chain 2s because I feel like they blend in better with your double crochets, and again, I find them easier to work into than chain 2s. I just hate chains in general. So to do a stacked single crochet, what you're gonna do is you're going to insert your hook in the top of the chain 2 here, like so. Now, you're going to pull up a loop like this, and you're going to pull through both loops. This is the first single crochet. So to do the second one that goes on top, you're going to insert your hook between the 2 legs of the single crochet. So the first leg is right here, it's very easy, so you're gonna go essentially behind this, like so. Okay, so now with my loop on my hook, I'm just going to go behind this leg right here, like so. And you're going to yarn over and pull up another loop like this, and now you should have 2 loops on your hook. Now all you need to do is yarn over again and you're gonna pull through the last 2 loops. So this is what a stacked single crochet looks like. It's very similar to a double crochet, and as you can see, it will also have the top 2 loops just like any other double crochet. So I'm going to put another stitch marker to mark the top of the stacked single crochet, because at the end of this row we're going to slip stitch into the top right here. Now you can just insert your hook in your loop and you're just going to do a row of double crochets. So now you should have the top of the first actual double crochet. This is just a reminder, this is the chain 2. So now we're gonna go into the first actual double crochet and we're gonna do 8 double crochet like so, like that. So now just keep doing double crochets until you reach the end of the row, and I will meet you at the end to show you how to slip stitch into the stacked single crochet and also how to change yarn for your next row. Okay, so I've gone all the way around with my double crochets, so now we need to slip stitch to the top of the stacked single crochet. I'm just gonna move the marker. You can see this is exactly where we're going. I also like to grab this tail end and hold it on the back so that when I switch my colors, I'm gonna crochet over this tail so I won't have to weave it in later. So what I do is I insert my hook into the top of the stacked single crochet, like so, and then I'm just gonna grab that tail and pop it over my hook like so. So now my tail, you can see it is like right behind here, and then I'm just gonna slip stitch. I'm also gonna remove this stitch marker because it's like totally in the way. To do your color change, you're going to drop your working yarn and you're gonna grab your other color and you're just gonna put it on your hook like this, and you're gonna pull through the loop like this, and you're going to pull that loop closed. So now you really can't tell that there's a color change right here. You're gonna pull that loop closed as well, just because otherwise it's going to be loose. And you're gonna do another stacked single crochet to start the row. Okay, so insert your hook in the top of this stacked single crochet. Make sure it goes through both loops, and also make sure that your tail is over your hook. And then, like we did earlier, you're going to pull up a loop like this. So now you should have 2 loops. And now you're gonna yarn over again and pull through 2. Now insert your hook behind the leg right here. like so. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Again, you should have 2 loops, and you're gonna yarn over and pull through 2. Now that my stacked single crochet is done, all I need to do is double crochet all around, and then I will slip stitch to the top here, and then I will keep doing double crochet rows. To do a brim, I usually do between 6 to 10 rows of double crochet, and then I'm going to swap my project over so that all my color changes go on the inside of the project. I'm not really sure how many rows I will do for this specific hat, so I will do my brim and then I will catch you later just to confirm how many rows I did. Okay, so I ended up doing a total of 8 rows for my brim. So now I'm going to show you how to swap your project around. If you keep going all the way up and you fold this side, what will happen is all your color changes will be visible. So in order to create the brim and make those disappear, you're just going to swap your colors like you would normally do. Close that loop tight, and then you're just gonna literally swap your project over. I like to flip it inside out, and then you will just make sure to leave this tail end on the back of your project. So technically it's on the front, but when you're holding your project, you know, it needs to be on the back, because otherwise if it stays here, it's gonna be visible. Now, because we flipped our project, technically the first stitch is here, and right here there's the slip stitch, so just make sure you don't go inside the slip stitch right here. You need to go here. So to do your stacked single crochet, now we are technically on the wrong side. You're just going to do it like you did earlier. So you're just going to insert your hook in technically the last stitch of your previous row, and you're going to pull up your loop like you just did earlier, pull through 2, insert your hook between the 2 legs, pull up a loop and pull through 2, and make sure that this goes on the back. And now you can just continue doing your double crochets. I will meet you at the end of the row to show you where you're gonna do your last double crochet and how to tuck this tail to make sure it stays on the back. Alright, I'm almost finished with my row, so I will show you where to do the last double crochet. Just flipping it around here, you can see that the stacked single crochet is still empty, so I will do my last double crochet here, and then I'm just going to do a normal like slip stitch here, making sure this tail is on the back like so. I'm just gonna do my last double crochet here, and then your tail will kind of remain between the first and the last stitch, and then just slip stitch like so. And then now your tail is gonna remain stuck on the back. So now just swap colors, and you can keep working your hat as you were earlier. Alright, now that we've done the brim and that we've already started step 3, all we need to do is a bunch of rows of double crochet. The number of rows you're gonna end up doing will greatly vary between people. For me, my head is about like 20.8 inches in circumference, which is like pretty below average. It's really small. To know how high you need to make your hat, you're just gonna keep making rows until you try it, and make sure you fold the brim, by the way. When the brim is folded, the top row will be like comfortably able to touch like this, and the sides will start kind of folding like that. That's when you need to stop and sew the top shut. So I will meet you when I've finished my body, and I will show you how to do the mattress stitch to close it up. I'm back. I ended up doing 13 rows for the body, and in addition to the 8 rows of the brim, I ended up with a total of 21 rows of double crochet. So now all I need to do is slip stitch to the top of the stacked single crochet, chain 1, And leave a pretty long tail because we will use it to sew the top. So I would say have a tail that's about twice the length of the top. Cut your yarn and pull through. In order to sew the top shut, we will use a mattress stitch. So first grab your tapestry needle and thread your tail through the needle. Once that's done, you are going to flip your hat inside out, like so. Pull your yarn through, and you will bring the tail in front of you. I like to kind of fold it like that so that I can clearly see my stitches in front of me. I love using a mattress stitch to close up my cat hats because I feel like it makes the ears look much nicer. It also creates a pretty flexible seam on the top so it doesn't look all bunched up. And it's also almost invisible, which is kind of crazy. Like, it just looks so seamless and I love it. To show you how to do a mattress stitch, I decided to use my green yarn to create a contrast, but obviously you're going to be using your tail. I just thought it would be hard to see with the same color of yarn. All you need to do is go into the first stitch on the left from the inside to the outside, and then go on the first stitch of the right from the inside to the outside. And that's kind of it. Just make sure you don't sew like the actual slip stitch here. So I'm just gonna insert my needle into the first stitch on the left right here. And then I'm going to insert my needle into the first stitch on the right here from the outside towards the inside. Like so, like that. And then you're just going to repeat this. Take your needle and insert it into the next stitch on the left from the inside to the outside. And then on the right, like so. And then you just keep going like this. When you pull it closed, you're gonna see it looks really fantastic. Obviously I'm using green yarn so you can see the yarn, and on the outside also is pretty invisible, I'd say. You can still kind of see it like I said, but it's not too bad. Alright, so now that I've shown you how to do it, I'm just gonna unravel this and do it with my actual tail. Alright. Like so, and then from left to right, from right to left, from left to right, and then you're just gonna keep going like that all the way till the end. I would say try to keep your tension firm, but not like, don't pull too hard because it's gonna start scrunching. And when you wear your hat, you're gonna be able to see where you pulled harder. It's hard to explain without showing you, but just trust me on that one. Alright, now we're approaching the end. So I'm just going to finish the last couple of stitches. Like so. And now I have 3 stitches left. As you can see, there's 1, 2, and 3. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in the first one, well, technically the last one on the right. I'm gonna go into the one on the left, and I'm gonna finish on that last one on the right. This one is a little hard to catch, but it's okay. And I'm just gonna pull it a little bit tight. And now all we need to do is create a knot and sew it back into the hat. So you're just gonna go into pretty much any stitch. So I'm just gonna go into this one. And you're gonna create a loop like this, and then you're just gonna put your needle through that loop and pull it tight. So now there's a knot, so it won't unravel. So now I just go back onto that seam. You can kind of go anywhere, really, it doesn't matter. just go into anything, but really don't pull too hard because it will like scrunch this ear inward, if that makes sense. Try to go in a couple of different directions if you can, like so. And now I'm just gonna cut it off. Ta-da! So now we're almost finished, so you can flip your hat back inside out, or outside in rather, or whatever. And I like to kind of pull on the ears just a little bit to make them go a bit like outside. And the last step is sewing that end back into the hat. So just, yeah, again, just kind of go anywhere you can really. I just sort of do this willy-nilly. Okay, and then cut all your ends and you're done. You just made the perfect cat hat. Give yourself a round of applause. Congratulations, you now know how to make a cat hat. To finish this video, I will show you how to fold the ears because I feel like it's detrimental to the look. So when you put it on, I like to fold them flat on the top like this, so that when you look people head on, they look like this and they look super cute, I think. They look cute on the viewfinder, so I'm assuming they look cute. I hope you like this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, send this video to her mother, tell her I say hi, write me a love letter, I don't know, just get creative, do something. Send me $1,000. Alright, bye.